Not everything is a conspiracy. Not everything was staged. That's the title of tonight's live stream. I don't want to go an hour. Tonight I have to go to bed. I'm tired. It was a long, exhausting / relaxing weekend. I hope you had a similar weekend as well. Of course, last night's events have triggered lots of reaction, lots of commentary, and that's why I wanted to hop on just for a few minutes to talk about what happened. We don't have to rehash what happened and rile everybody up again about everything. Thank God the president is okay. Thank God everyone was okay. I actually forgot that the correspondence dinner was on, and then around, I don't know what it was, 8:30, 8:45, I thought, oh shoot, the correspondence dinner is on, and Trump is actually going this year, so it's going to be kind of funny, kind of good. So I quickly grab my phone and I'm searching, like, White House correspondence dinner, what time? I don't even know if I put what time. I just put White House correspondence dinner. And the first thing that came up on the Google search was not the time, but that the president had been whisked away quickly for a security incident. And I thought, oh no, here we go again. At first I thought, well, it's probably not that serious, probably just something that the Secret Service didn't like. Maybe there's someone who entered who was a little bit dodgy, a little suspect, or who knows what was going on. Then they just, out of a abundance of caution, as they like to say, they took the president off the stage. But that's actually not what happened. There actually were shots fired. And of course, this is reminiscent of Butler and everything else we've been seeing. So a crazy scene. But I don't want to spend too much time talking about the actual event because that's been probably done to death by now. I'm 24 hours late to that party. But I want to comment on something that I was feeling when I was looking at all the commentary and all the reaction to this. And this is something that I've been thinking about even before last night's events. And this is a problem on both the right and the left. But I fear that it's really a problem on the right, which is why I want to address it, because I am a member of the right wing, I guess. And the problem is that everybody now thinks that everything is staged. Everything is a conspiracy. You look at the comments on I don't know, at any social media post about this incident. And not only are people claiming that it was staged or fake, but they also kind of call you an idiot for not believing that. When really you have to be an idiot to believe that that was staged. And I believe that all of this stuff really started during COVID. So I blame COVID for this, because what happened over COVID was there was so many lies told to us, the public, the American public, the global public. There were so many lies told and so many failures on the part of government and big health, big pharma, that people got really, really jaded on the experts. And I actually think that is a good thing. I think that one of the very few positive things that came out of COVID was that people began to question authority. People began to question mainstream media. People began to question the narrative they were hearing, and that's all very, very healthy. The problem is Now, many people cannot discern between what is actually something to question, actually suspect, actually fishy, actually corrupt, blatantly staged, blatant lies, and things that are just normal events. I shouldn't say normal events, but events that do not warrant any reason for you to believe that they are staged. So now we're living in a world now where the Charlie Kirk incident, it wasn't actually the guy who did it. It was like a foreign operation or something. This thing was on Saturday night. This was staged, clearly staged. People were saying, how can it be that the president is doing an interview on 60 Minutes mere hours after this happened? Uh, Maybe because CBS called him and said, "Would you like to do an interview tonight?" I don't know. Is that so like out of the question? They're taking normal things now and going, "Whoa, if you don't see how crazy that is, then you better open up your eyes." How crazy what is? The president's doing an interview? I don't understand. What am I missing here? Please explain this to me. So now we've got all these people who think that everything is a conspiracy now. Everything is fake. They're people who what they think that Butler was like Trump had a ketchup package in his hand or something, one of those packs they give you at McDonald's. So that's just it's very troubling to me, and I fear that I remember it used to be that it was only the left who put out crap like that. I remember when I was in I don't know ninth grade, and I had a friend. Actually, we did a podcast together somewhere in the depths of the YouTube universe. You can find an old podcast that I did in high school. But anyway, he was one of the guys I did the podcast with, and he would send me links to a long, like 3 hour YouTube video called Loose Change. And it was how 9/11 is an inside job and the US government actually did 9/11. So back then it was just like people who hated Bush and like extreme liberals and stuff who anti-American people who came up with these crackpot conspiracy theories and promulgated them, and you kind of looked at them and just rolled your eyes. Basically, you're like, yeah, whatever. But then we got to a point where like there was a lot of corruption coming out. There was a lot of lies being exposed, a lot of secrets, a lot of government misdirection. And so you started to think, wow, hold on a second. Uh like what's going on with COVID? What's going on with the vaccines? What's going on with all this? And people started questioning it. So which by the way, I think that's healthy. I think that's good. I think um that's normal. That is actually a good that's a sign that the democracy is functioning or the republic is functioning, that people are questioning things like that. But now it's gotten carried away. It's gotten to the point where there are people who their entire personality is questioning everything is fake, everything is staged. How could you not see that this thing is staged? There are people who were calm and eating their dinner and weren't ducking under the tables. So I just to I just hope people come to their senses about this stuff and realize that thinking everything is staged isn't smart. It's idiotic. So, but I have no faith that that's going to happen. I have no faith that people are going to stop thinking that, stop saying that, because you really don't have to do much explaining either. You don't really have to do much um, of the intellectual heavy work, heavy lifting to just say that's an inside job, that's stage, that's fake, total psyop. Everything is like that now. Even the most obvious things that are, and again, I don't want to say normal because what happened on Saturday night at the correspondence dinner, that's not normal. But it's also not obviously an inside job and stage. Like what? They hired some lunatic to run as fast as he could and get shot at and shoot Secret Service agents and then fail in the mission. Also, what? We can distract from the Iran war. Trump had a press conference right after the event where he said, this is not, he brought it up himself. He's like, this is not going to deter me from the Iran operation, which, by the way, I have my reservations about, but we can talk about that on another time. But I thought the president was very calm and cool last night. I thought he was very good. He handled it all very well. And then, of course, I saw some clips from his 60 Minutes interview tonight, in which he told the interviewer that she was a disgrace to journalism and she should be ashamed. So, I mean, I think the unity lasted not very long, but she was reading like quotes from this guy's manifesto, insinuating that Trump was connected to Epstein. So, who could really blame him? But anyway, that's just what I wanted to pop on and talk about. It's just ridiculous the nonsense I see coming. And the thing that concerns me is it's coming from the right. I know a lot of it's coming from the right. Um, how could you not see that this was fake? What do you mean? How could I not see this was fake? How could you not see that this was real? If there is a conspiracy, there needs to be a point to the conspiracy. So what was the point of this? To what? Make the president more popular? Oh, someone's trying to, I'm not going to use the word, but you know what again? Now all of a sudden you think the president's approval rating is going to turn around completely. So they did this whole inside operation for polling. Did they do what? They did it to distract from the Epstein files. Really? Couldn't we have come up with an easier way? Like suppose you're the Trump administration or the US government or whatever, and you want to concoct a false flag operation to change the media narrative about something. So this is what you do? I don't understand exactly what the benefit is here of it. Like at least the lunatics who were talking about the loose change guys. Oh, this was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job. And you go, well, why? And they say, well, because the U.S. government wants to go to war, because they have interest in the Middle East, and blah blah blah. And you go, oh, I could, okay, maybe. Like I don't believe it, but I can kind of see how the puzzle pieces might fit together. But now you've got people just saying things are an inside job there's no logical conclusion to the inside job. There's no logical conclusion to a false flag operation at the White House Correspondents' Dinner where the guy is tackled and face first goes into the ground and is hauled off now for trial. Like this is crazy. So the other thing I'm kind of concerned about as well, and I think I saw Van Jones talking about this, which is that this there's going to be people who are like celebrating this guy, and that just shows you how sick people are, man. That's just the Luigi Mangione thing. I mean, if you had any doubt about how sick the society has gotten, just understand people celebrated the murder of a CEO. They celebrated the guy because he was good looking. Like, think of how shallow and sick and deprived that is. What, you don't like capitalism, so you're gonna support some like 22-year-old? I don't know how old he was. Murdering somebody? Sick. Really demented, twisted stuff. And that's probably what you're gonna get all week long about this guy. This guy who, not pointing at me, this guy. Whatever his name is. So thank God the president's fine. Thank God everyone else is fine. What can I say? It's like I thought he had a very good press conference last night. He was not like going crazy. He was very reserved and rational, and he made a good comment. He At one point he said, they asked him, "Why do you think this keeps happening to you?" And I thought to myself, how would you even answer that question?" And I think he answered it perfectly. He said something to the effect of, "You notice they never try this on people who don't do anything. It's only the people who make big changes. It's only the people who really are making a difference doing stuff." He's like, "I'm making a difference. I'm doing stuff. I take it as an honor." I actually think he said, I'm very honored. I'm very honored to have this target on my on my body." But anyway, it's sad that it's come to this. It's like we've got the president needing to be protected. On the one hand, the Secret Service does a fantastic job. I saw a guy just run to the president and just stand there like this, calmly, just stand there. He's like, "I'm ready. Anything coming at the president right now, it's going straight into my chest. Just have at it. Take me first." Like, that's the guy's job. Can you imagine that's your job? Your job is to take a bullet. Incredible. So on that in that sense, and they shot the guy. He was running full speed and they got him. So in that sense, the Secret Service, fantastic job. Like, you can't even imagine having the job that these people do. But on the other hand, we have to kind of ask the obvious question: how did this guy get that close? Okay, this is a president that has now had 3 times. This has happened 3 times now. Before Saturday night, it happened twice. And you mean to tell me this guy got that close? That's just mind blowing to me. I know it's easier said than done to protect the most powerful person in the world. It's not an easy job. I mean, no matter how much you do, it's still really tough. But you're telling me that this is the layer of protection they have around him still? That to me is, I mean, he's got to be asking questions about that. Even if he isn't doing it in public yet, he's definitely got to be asking those questions in private. So there's that. On the one hand, the Secret Service did an incredible job, but on the other hand, it's like, seriously, how does this happen? How does this guy get that close? And then, of course, Trump is saying that if only we built the new ballroom, this would not happen. And then the media freaks out. It's like unity. I saw David Axelrod post something. I happen to think that David Axelrod is a very smart guy, but David Axelrod, I mean, these people are just hacks. They're political hacks. Like, who gets up this morning and thinks, "I'm going to be upset about the president's ballroom today, and I'm going to go and I'm going to reply to him on Twitter, and I'm gonna show them what's wrong with this. I'm gonna show the world what's wrong with him wanting to." It's like, seriously, dude, just give it a day. Like, just one single day of one day break from your political hackery, please. Can you please spare us? Like, you don't have to respond to everything with your talking points. Like, the media matters. Like, okay, here we go. We have to respond. I know it's only been like 12 hours since this incident happened, but we have to do our job, hammering away at the keypad. So crazy. Absolutely crazy. So those are my comments for the night. Let's see. Um, Good headline, by the way. Thank you. I thought it was a great headline as well. I think I'm gonna start doing like more short form stuff. I said I was gonna be 10 minutes, and I'm already at 20. It's not very hard for me just to go an hour. Like, an hour is usually when I start to run out of steam. So I could keep going, but I have nothing more to now tonight. It's all I have to say is that it's kind of disturbing how many people now just think that everything is staged, everything's a conspiracy, everything's fake, everything's a false flag. They're like the smart ones in the room now because they can say like, "Well, what about this?" You see people automatically like they're talking about this. There was some mentalist or something at the dinner, and when the shots rang out, that's what Trump and Melania were doing. They were like watching this guy hold up. You could tell that Trump was bored by it. He's like, "Get this guy out of here, please! Like, let me just sit here and drink my Diet Coke in peace, okay? I'm about to give my speech. I don't need you like sitting here showing me all your tricks. If you were a real mentalist, maybe you could tell me what's about to happen in front of me. Like, what's happening here, dude? You can read my brain after I give you five different numbers between 1 and 84, and then you guess the right one. You couldn't have guessed that the guy's about to come in. So that's what was happening right before the incident actually happened. Guy couldn't even guy couldn't tell couldn't give us a hint that that's what was about to happen. So anyway, my original point, people were taking photos. Look, he's holding up a sign. He's holding up a piece of paper. He's tipping somebody off. This was the sign. This was the signal. It's like, no, dude, this was not a signal. It was the guy doing his stupid trick. But if you zoom in at just the right moment, Caroline Levitt, she lifts her index finger up, just like so. What's that about? And who's watching? How come we haven't asked any questions about that, huh? This is like these people are lunatics and they don't need to back anything up because you can literally just make it up just like I just did. And now someone says to me, "Well, what are you talking about?" I said, "I don't know. I'm just asking questions. That was the favorite line that people used to use back in the Bush administration. I'm just asking questions. We're just asking questions." Now these same people, "Oh, I want George Bush back. Oh, I would do anything to have W back. We used to call him stupid. Now look what we have." And I'm looking at Hoda Kotb and Jenna Bush, just and all the media they're coming up to him and hugging him. "Oh, Mr. President." These people called this guy Hitler for like 8 straight years. I was young, but I was still alive. I remember it. They called him Hitler every day. They called the Iraq War like the biggest war crime ever humanity has ever seen. Yeah, Iraq War was a disaster, but like the way they were talking about it was like this guy belongs in the Hague. It was relentless, and it was all these people: Hoda Kotb, Matt Lauer, Wolf Blitzer, and now they all just love George W. Bush. Like, and they act like they had nothing to do with any of the negative press toward him. They just act like they loved him the whole time. "Oh, here's our good pal W. We wish he was president now." It's like, I'm young, but I'm not stupid. Like I remember I watched the news as a kid, and you guys didn't like George W. Bush. You hated him. You were part of the crowd saying, "We're just asking questions. Hey, just asking a couple of questions." Well, what do you mean? Like what would be the point of that? Like what would be the point of this tip off and this sign and this signal? I don't know. I'm just hey, no, don't ask me. Maybe you should ask the government those questions. I'm not the person who has to defend it. So I just hate that. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes there are conspiracies. Like COVID, full of them. Okay, full of them. People were getting banned off social media for talking about it. So that's how you know that they were onto something about that stuff. But now the COVIDians have taken that attitude, which was rightfully applied to that situation, and now they have taken that mindset, which is that everything is a conspiracy. And now that COVID has ended, they're applying that to everything still. So everything is an inside job. Everything is a distraction. This war, it's actually a distraction to get the media to pay attention to something else. Oh, this shooting, this is not real. This is staged. Uh, okay. For what reason? What is the end result here? All right. That's it. That's it. That's all. Any more comments? Any questions? I will answer them. If not, I'm going to bed because I'm tired. I could talk for an hour more about this incident and everything else, but I don't have it in me. But I had it in me to come on for 20 minutes and just talk about these crazy people and their conspiracies about the incident. And we're going to be seeing that the whole week, by the way. The whole week is going to be screenshots and zoom ins and slow mo. Shorts are apparently where all the quarters have come from these days recently, but I remember subbing to your channel years ago, and it does show you being better at this radio voice stuff over time. What are you saying? My voice has changed? I do YouTube shorts quite a bit. I tend to do my whole live stream for like an hour, and then I'll take clips from that and post them. But I don't know. The YouTube shorts, they get a lot of views, which is good, and I like that. But I, I'm not too sure that the YouTube shorts are good for building a solid audience, like a kind of a loyal audience. So I don't really know. I don't know if I'm gonna keep posting there. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not. I'm not sold on YouTube Shorts being like. I don't think I'm just gonna dedicate my channel to that. I'm gonna still do the live streams. I've thought about just posting like kind of 10-minute long ones, but I can't help myself. I can't stop myself at 10 minutes. Like I look up at the clock on my live stream clock here, and it's at like 9:30, and I haven't even got to my main point yet. I'm still ranting about something unrelated. Um, Mad respect because you were kind of awkward in presentation a few years ago, and you sound like a fully serious professional now in tone. Mad respect and pat yourself on the back. Well, thank you. Thank you, WeBack5933. When have you been subscribed since? I started this channel back in 2020, I think it was, during COVID, because I was bored, first of all, and I thought, hey, if ever I'm going to start the channel, it would be now because I'm bored. Everyone else is bored. Everyone's just watching YouTube and TikTok. I mean, why not do it now? And so I did. I'm kind of weirdly nostalgic about the COVID, like just the beginning part. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I hated the whole thing, but the beginning part, like March, I'm gonna say March, April, and maybe a little bit into the summer. But after the George Floyd stuff started, everything just went down the tubes after that. But there was a time, and before I say this, you see, look, I'm already at 28 minutes. Before I say this, let me just say, first of all, COVID was horrible. People were dying. It was just everything about it was horrible. But let me just say this one thing, because I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I don't really know why. I am sort of nostalgic for like the first month, because the first month it was kind of like we weren't angry enough yet because the lockdowns hadn't gone on and on and on and on, and we weren't like fighting with our family yet, because at a certain point during COVID everyone just started being at each other's throats because everyone had different opinions about inoculations and mandates and lockdowns and all this stuff. And then the Black Lives Matter stuff started. That whole summer was just crazy freaking summer. But the March and April, you're staying home. I spent a lot of good time with my parents. I was just like, because normally I'd be out working and doing stuff. But now I was like home, just hanging out with my parents, and I remember there was a couple weeks where like every night we just watched like a really old movie. Like we went back and watched all the classics, like a lot of classics I'd never seen. Um so that was kind of a cool time. It was just like, and I don't know, I just remember like thinking to myself, like, you were also kind of relieved of any guilt you had about not being exactly where you wanted to be in life. You know, oh no, I should be working this job right now. I should be doing this. I should be making this amount of money. I should have these relationships. I should be at this status by now. And everyone was just kind of sitting at home. So, you know, you were kind of relieved of a bit of the rat race pressure for a while. And that was nice, actually. It was like a nice breather. I remember like I started doing stuff that I never would have done. Like I started going for walks. Like I go for a walk. Like I'd never go for a walk. You started to kind of be more grateful for things too. You'd go grocery shopping and you wouldn't want to go again because grocery shopping was such a pain. You know, you'd have to mask up and like you're walking around thinking like who's sick, what's going on. So grocery shopping was a pain. So you'd get all your food, you'd bring it home, and you'd be like, oh, okay, like okay, we got the food now. Like everything's here. We got all the toilet paper, we got all everything we need. We got like meat to last us like 2, 3 weeks at least. We got all these snacks ready. Okay, everything's here. We're all good. And watching old movies, and everyone was like locked down, and we were like kind of wondering what would happen next. I know I'm really romanticizing a horrible thing here, and that's why I gave it a caveat. Like, look, this was a horrible time, but the first few weeks of downtime and relaxation and rest and just chilling, it was kind of just a nice vacation from the world for a while. It was like, okay, like let's just chill and I'm gonna turn the TV on. Let's see what's going on today. Let's, you know, it's depressing, but let's just see where the case numbers are at. And I don't know. Look, call me crazy. I kind of miss it. I kind of miss that time. I don't want to go back to it, but there was a little sweet spot there that was like, you know, and I remember thinking to myself, enjoy this time with my parents. You know, my father has since passed since then. So, I kind of knew it's like God was telling me, like, hey, just don't be too worried about this. Just take the silver lining. You're spending more time with your family. You're at home. Everything's taken care of. You know, at the time, I had just sold an investment property of mine, so I had a kind of a windfall from that sale. It was right before COVID, so I was like kind of financially very secure. I just remember that March and April as being kind of blissful, honestly. And I know it wasn't blissful for a lot of people, so forgive me if that's insensitive or something, but I look back on that time fondly. All the time after, no, because I everything just went to heck after that. I remember, let me see. Okay, I got to catch up on some of these. Nickels are like sickos. I just like seeing hard work pays off. Okay. I remember posting a similar comment under one of your shorts a month or two ago. Like, damn, this is. I'm angry for you. It's not more viral. Well, look, the thing is, in order to be successful on here, you have to be very consistent. And that has been my problem is I haven't been consistent. Now I have good excuses for that because I have a life outside of this and I have a job outside of this and I have a career outside of this and I have, you know, things to do. So doing it consistently is difficult, but I'm trying my best. I'm absolutely trying my best to be consistent, and it helps. You know, during the election in 2024, I thought if Trump gets in, this channel will have a higher chance of being successful because if Trump gets in, you know, there's going to be content events happening all the time. If he had a loss, I feel like we wouldn't have had as many kind of things to talk about. So totally agree with you on COVID. the weird COVID nostalgia and how weird that all is. Totally remember that all. That was very weird, man. It was like I almost can't believe all that happened. It was like the strangest thing ever. What was also weird about it is that you started to see like how um I don't want to say how evil people are, but you started to see how it really revealed a lot about everybody. Like the people who were telling on their neighbors and all that, and the people who were like totally blinded and just listened to everything that was told to them without ever questioning. And then there were people who were the opposite, who like questioned everything. So you really started to see like all that. Do you remember the user Shallot or not? Because you kind of remind me of him. Didn't he pass away, Shallot? I do remember him, but I don't know if I'm thinking of the same guy. Didn't Shallot die? I think he did. And I think, oddly enough, I think that during COVID when that happened. Let me see real quickly. This was supposed to be a 10-minute video. Remember? Oh yeah. Are you talking about Gilad Shalit? No, no, no. Hold on. No, we're not. Shalit was a streamer. Yeah, I remember this guy. Gilad Shalit. No. You saying I look like him, or are you saying I remind you of him like when he was streaming? Oh, anyway. So yeah, I have to be more consistent with the streaming, even if I popped on just for a few minutes each night. Um, the thing is that my channel, I don't know if you know this, but my channel started in 2020. I actually something happened with the channel with YouTube, and I had to go get another one, start another one, because this one was like it wasn't working. Something happened with YouTube. I don't know if I was banned or I violated some. I did something happened, and I couldn't gain access to it anymore. But then, um, believe it or not, and this is going to blow people's minds, YouTube does have a complaint department where you can go and say, "Hey, something happened to me here." And at first I thought this is crazy. There is no way that anyone is going to read my complaint. Well, you go on Reddit and it turns out they tell you yes, they do read it. So I emailed them and I said, "Look, I don't know what happened, but this was like 4 years ago. You know, I had started a new channel, and the new channel had some success, but I sort of stopped on that channel as well, and I had a bigger following here. So one day randomly I just thought to myself, you know, it's been like 4 years, 5 years. I'm gonna email again and just see, hey, like what's going on? Like, can I get my channel back, please? I have no idea what happened here. And they responded like, yes, of course. Okay, we see that it was a mistake, blah blah blah. And they reinstated it. So that's when I started doing content on here again. And it was I think around the summer of 24, when the election was ramping up, because I knew that I wanted to cover that. I knew it was going to be a very eventful election, which of course it was. And so yeah, I mean that's sort of what happened. I was on a roll in 2020 during COVID after I started it, and and then there was the 2020 election, and there was everything that happened after that. And I think might have had something to do with that. I mean, I wasn't like on there talking about like Jan 6 or anything, but it was there was a lot of people who got banned and maybe accidentally got caught up in that whole thing. So I think that might have been what happened there. But anyway, that's sort of the story of the channel and why I stopped streaming for a while. And then now I've come back to it. So I appreciate everybody who comes on and comments and likes, and I do ask you like the video and comment, share, subscribe. I'm on TikTok, Florida Millennial on TikTok, FLA Millennial on X. So you can go to those places for more. I'm going to come on at some point this week and stream a little more, and I'll talk more about yesterday, and what actually happened there, and my thoughts about it. But tonight I just wanted to come on and talk about the weird reactions I've been seeing to it. So we'll see what happens this week. I know that Trump did a 60 Minutes interview. I was thinking maybe I'll do a reaction stream to that, because it looks like it got a little bit combative. So that might be interesting to do. But anyway, we'll try and I'm gonna try and be very familiar on here again, and we'll see what happens. I think I have great faith that this channel can become big and successful. It's just I have to hold up my end of the bargain. So, and that means coming on here consistently. So that's what I have to do. And I think if I do that, I think the channel is going to be very successful. I think we're going to have a lot of people. I think the subscription numbers are going to continue to increase. And yeah, I have high hopes for it. So as long as there's things to talk about, I tell people I stream when I have something to say, and so I don't come on here just for the sake of coming on here and just to blabber, even though maybe it sounds like I'm doing that sometimes. But I come on when I think there is something interesting to say. I come on when I think there's a take that needs to be said, and there's been no shortage of events happening. So I think it's kind of like a weird thing that I have where I have the need. All day I'm thinking. I don't want to say deeply about things, but all day long I'm thinking about things. I'm having these ideas in my head, and just I'm a big observer of society. I like to observe. I like to contemplate. That's why I like traveling the country. It's a very interesting thing when you travel the country, because you start to realize. People always say you need to travel to understand other cultures. It's like, how will you travel inside your own country first? I don't need to go to Guatemala to live with the villagers in Guatemala to understand the world better. Okay. I don't need to go to Africa to understand the world better. I need to go to West Virginia to understand this country better. Okay. I need to go to, I don't know, I need to go to a town that I don't know the name of. And I think journalists should do more of that. And I think they started to after Trump was elected, because they were like, wait a second, there are, everyone in my zip code, like all my friends wanted Hillary. How did this happen? And then they started like going to all these towns in Pennsylvania, and they would interview them like they were aliens. Like, so you work at the mill, and how do you feel about this new president? And they're talking to them like they're foreigners, like they're foreign intruders into the world, not just foreign to them. So anyway, I like to travel the country for that reason, because I like to observe. And because I like to observe, I have all these thoughts in my head all day long. And sometimes I have to come on in the evening or late at night just to spew them, to regurgitate them all to you, to vomit them all into this microphone toward this camera, and you can make of it whatever you want to make of it. But I'm telling it to you exactly how it is in my brain, and that's why I don't like to watch too many other streamers. I have a few that I consistently watch, but I don't like to watch other people, because then I start to, everything that they are regurgitating, or everything they're saying, begins to be my opinion. I don't like to have an opinion, fed to me. Like, I find that with a lot of people who watch Fox, actually. I hate to say it, but because people who watch Fox, they don't have their own opinion. They have the opinion, they have Sean Hannity's opinion, which they just sort of repeat to you. And the same thing on the other side, they don't have an opinion on Trump. They have an opinion on Trump that they heard from somebody on MSNBC, if you're talking about boomers, or they have an opinion on Trump that like Sam Harris told them, but they don't have an opinion on it. Like there are very few people who have original opinions about things anymore. There are very few people who, when something happens in the world, an event or in the country, and you log on to their channel and they make a video about it or they do a live stream about it, there are very few people who you're thinking to yourself, I wonder what they're going to say about this. And that's the key. Most streamers, most influencers, political commentators are very predictable. So you know exactly what their take's going to be. Okay. I know that if I turned on Fox News tomorrow night, I I can tell you exactly what Sean Hannity is going to say before he says it. I can tell you exactly what every single host on that channel is going to say. If I go to MSNBC, I know what everyone on there is going to say. Okay. But if I go to Bill Maher, for example, I don't really know what Bill Maher is going to say about it. That's what makes it interesting. Now, most of the time I disagree with Bill Maher, but I like that about him. I like that every now and then you get a take from him that's like, oh, I didn't really expect that one. Or, I didn't really think of it that way. That's what makes a good commentator, in my opinion, is the unpredictability of it. And they're not trying to shock you. They're not trying to be unpredictable for unpredictability's sake. They're just simply looking at events and they have their own unique opinion on them. And that is honestly how I am trying to be. I am not trying to come on here and tell you that the Iran war is going fantastic and this was the greatest idea ever, even though you know that I'm a Trump guy. I'm not going to come on here and just be a cheerleader. And by the way, I think Trump, for as much as he seems to crave the approval and endorsement, I think he appreciates honesty. Like I think if you disagree with him, honestly, he doesn't mind it. I think he just likes the dishonesty. He hates the snakes in the media. He hates that. And so I don't want to be like a cheerleader for him on every single thing he does. I don't want to come on here and just be oh, everything is a conspiracy now. Everything's an inside job. Everything is a psyop, a false flag. That's not my thing. I'm not going to come on here and do that to you. Okay, really well done and all. I thought. Do you have a Discord or other socials I should look at? Yeah, as I said on X, Florida, FLA Millennial, TikTok. I post a lot of stuff on TikTok now. Actually, I have found TikTok to be a great social media medium because it things your videos can catch legs very quick on that platform. I sound like a boomer now on that network. But I am a Florida Millennial on TikTok. Where else? No, I'm not on Discord. Yeah, YouTube, X, TikTok. I'm in my mid 30s and still learn things from traveling 10 miles away. Says more about me than the average nobody, but yeah. No, it's true, honestly. It's like people are like obsessed with traveling the world. It's like travel your own zip code. Like Yeah, traveling is great. Traveling the world is fine. I'm not against it. But my point is that there are people who I don't really think they realize how I don't want to use the word diverse because that has a different meaning now. Diverse means like multicultural. But there are people who have no idea how diverse their country even is. You know what I mean? Like there are people who live in a metropolis who have no idea how life is in West Virginia or like rural Ohio or um, Wisconsin or Montana. And then the inverse of that is there are people in those places that have no idea what life is like in Miami or New York or Chicago. So, in my opinion, honestly, if I think people should travel their own country, they should venture outside their own zip code and learn about their fellow countrymen before they want to learn about people in, I don't know, Guyana or something. I don't know. Like, what's the point? We're going like, I don't know. You cannot learn about the culture if you simply go on vacation. You have to go into the villages. It's like, okay, I mean, and what am I gonna do with this information? Like, I'm gonna go to an African village and I'm gonna feel really bad that this is how they live. Okay, and then I'm gonna come back to America and then I'm going to, I don't know, do what about that? I don't know. I guess I'm better educated now or something. Let me just see. 1 second before we close out. Oh man, it's way too late. I have to wake up at 5 a.m. Trump went hard on the 60 Minutes reporter. Trump looked pretty epic in that press conference last night, though. Black tie. Really looked like a president. I'm just scrolling through X a little bit here to see if I have any other. Anything else interesting to contribute? Look at this photo. 1 second here. Look at this epic photo. Forget about the caption. Look at that one. Just imagine the memes that are going to be created from this thing. Sir Sydney Sweeney just released a new American Eagle ad. Oh, but it is funny. It is funny. Trump's hair is just so crazy, man. I was watching the interview he was doing on 16 Minutes, and this is the same as every interview I watch. I cannot take my eyes off of his hair. Like, it's crazy, man. Look at that. Look at that head of hair, man. Wow. He's got like a part here that's going forward. This one's swooping back. This one's going over that one that's going forward. This part's going back. It's crazy. So anyway, that's all. That's all I got for the night, folks. I'm tired and That's really all I wanted to say. There's not much else. It's just sad about what happened. Thank God. Thank God no one was hurt. Did they do a Jimmy Fallon? What does that mean? I did see that Jimmy Fallon did like some kind of dumb thing. You know it's bad when I'm actually yawning on the live stream. All right. Thank you to everybody for joining. I see that there's many more of you now. If you're watching right now, please like the video, comment, subscribe. And I'll be back more this week because I know there'll be more crazy things happening this week because crazy things are happening every single week. We went through a little bit of a drought like a week or two ago where like nothing was happening. And I honestly thought that we were going to see Cuba invasion or some sort of Cuba operation. That didn't happen. And I keep thinking of the nothing ever happens guy. And then I did a video of the Live Golf thing. But like Live Golf was going bankrupt and it was all going to end. And the next day there was going to be an announcement and nothing happened. I'm like, this always happens. Like, where's the nothing ever happens guy? This guy. I think of this meme. I think of this meme all the time because every time we think, oh, something is going to happen, nothing ever happens. Like Venezuela and Iran were the only times that didn't pan out, but it always seems to be that nothing ever happens. Where's this guy? I want to end with this guy. No, we don't want to invite a guest. Sorry. This dude, nothing ever happens. I think of this guy all the time. He's a very wise man, this guy. He knows. He knows that nothing ever happens. Whenever something's supposed to happen, like, oh, tomorrow is going to be a big announcement. Tomorrow we're going to blow the top off all this. Nothing ever happens. All right. That's all. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you again soon. Oh, one more. Nothing ever happens. Never heard that one before. You never heard of the nothing ever happens guy? The hair fuzzies Trump hair test. I meant LOL, but yeah. Good stream. Good presentation, bro. Thank you very much. See you all later.